And welcome to The Cup, the Currently Unnamed Podcast, where we put the real and the tea in reality, and where you can always come to us first to quench your thirst. I am your girl, Lana, your resident evil diva, and I'm here to give the tea, spill the tea, and drink the tea because I love me some tea. Purr. And if you have some tea, you know what to do. Hit me up. I am currently just drinking water because hydration is important. I put this in here earlier before I left, so I made sure I had something to drink. See, I've been thinking all day. I've been preparing for this episode, and I wanted to make sure I got it right because Logan's not here. And usually when Logan's not here and I'm left to my own devices, things go wrong. So I'm trying not to make them go wrong today. That's my goal. Nothing's going to go wrong. Everything is going to be perfect and smooth. Logan, enjoy your vacation. But if I was drinking anything else, I would be drinking it out of my cup mug. Yes. We do have our cup mugs and our cup merch all ready for you guys. All you have to do is go to lanagcreations.etsy.com and you can get your cup mug or any of our cup merch. And we do ship internationally and domestically here in the U.S. So there are no excuses. Philippines, I'm looking at you. I'm looking at you. Get your merch, Philippines. We'll get it to you. Period.
Well, I'm David Healy, and I don't have a cute intro, but I do have a cute shirt. I decided to wear a purple shirt in honor of Lana's favorite color, although it kind of looks blue on the screen. Does it look blue to you all?
It looks purple to me. But
okay. Well, I'm wearing Luxe Noir London in one of my favorite design looks I've ever seen on Drag Race. I love this look. But I am drinking some water. It was full right before I started Drag Den this evening, but I got nervous and started drinking a lot. But yeah, and I thank you.
You stress drink, I stress eat. That's how we weren't. And we would say, who is this? But we already know who this is.
Thank you very much. It's Michael. I'm back here with you. Thank you so much for having me. I decided this time I'm going to put Drag Den Daddy because whenever I go to IG and I'm talking to Margot, Feyvah, Fatale, Naia, Shawarma, or Dasha, any one of them, I'm dad. I'm daddy.
Period. I mean, Manila's mommy, that makes you daddy for sure.
Yeah, but I want to see the results. I want the lie detector results, if they're my kids or not, to be quite honest.
We'll hook it up with Maury in a minute because, I'm going to call Maury's show and his people. Yeah, it's so good to have you back, though.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be back because this episode in particular, I was really excited for our drag guest enforcer, Dolly DeLeon. It was so exciting to have her visit the set, and so I know it was very inspirational for everyone involved.
And what are you drinking today?
Oh, my magic blue cup may be filled with water.
Nice.
Nice. Look at it.
Or it may be filled with wine.
Who knows?
Who knows?
I say
you do.
I'm about to say, do you, boo? Do what you like.
And I do want to say, I was chatting with one of these Drag Den queens this past week, and I mentioned you and how you've been on the podcast, and she did refer to you as dad. So
you are dad.
I mean, I have quite a few children in the other side of the world in Asia.
Absolutely.
So I'm on, and I thank you.
I was so honored. Look, I would be honored if somebody, not call me dad because, but call me mom. No, never mind. I don't have any kids. No. That's okay. But we're here. We're talking about Drag Den, episode 6. It was a good one. It was a sad one, but still a good one. Double elimination, y'all. It was a double elimination this time. And I was like, I was so scared.
Is it too late to change our minds on that?
Right. Can we?
But wait. But wait.
If I do, I'm not going. I was
my God.
You not?
Come on,
Wow.
Russia, Jennifer Holiday Fox.
Okay, I'm not going. No, I'm not going. No, it's like,
And
okay,
I'm telling you, and you,
you're gonna love me. Yes. But I was like, oh, I've been waiting all week for this episode because of that teaser from the preview last week. I was like, in what context is this? Like, when did this happen? Did she already get eliminated? And she was like, I'm not going. Or was she just, I was like, I need to know. I need to know. So I was very excited. But before we jumping ahead, before we get all the way into it, let's get this business stuff out of the way first. If you're here, you've been with us for 6 minutes already, you stuck around all this time, subscribe to the channel. You know you want to. You wouldn't have stuck around already if you didn't want to be here. So subscribe to this channel. And we put almost all things drag and drag race and drag things out almost every single day. So come follow here. Do the things to say you support us and we appreciate you. Hit the join button to become a member of our memberships and join the tea room. We got a lot of stuff happening in that tea room. Only exclusive of the exclusive things happen in that tea room, and you want to know what that is. I know you do. So hit the button, join the tea room here, or go to our Patreon, which the link is in the description below. Same content, but you can decide what platform you want to use here, YouTube, or on our Patreon. You can also go join our subscribe to our other channels. We have 2 other channels that you can subscribe to: The Cup TV and The Cup ESC. If you're a fan of reality TV, The Cup TV is where you want to be. If you're a fan of Eurovision Song Contest, The Cup ESC is where you want to be, because we got a lot of content coming out all the time. You won't hit the notification bell so you won't miss anything. And trust me, you will not be disappointed because it's content all the time. We record all the time. We put stuff out all the time. I'm here all the time. So come on and support us. Period. And we thank you.
Thank you.
So now all that crap is out of the way. Let's talk about what we're here for, because man, oh man, was this an episode. And David, I did take notes as well. Little notes, not as extensive notes as you, but I did take notes as well. Because I wanted to make sure we had everything together. Like I said, Logan is not going to be disappointed in me, not this week. So we come back, and it's the funeral, and they're coming in, and they're singing the songs of Margot, who has left us and is now departed. And this is a much sadder song than it was when Jean left not too long ago. Because when Jean left,
deserve.
When Jean left, they were doing the Mardi Gras parade on her grave as she left. But this week, it was more like, oh, Marco, no.
You know, I chatted with Manila about why the season 2 queens were so threatened by Jean Valogue. And it's because in season 1, the baby drag queen won that season.
Oh.
The baby. And so they were like, no, not on our watch. Not here, not this year.
Well, okay.
That makes sense.
Makes sense. But man, I was like, well, all right. So Margot's gone. Everybody's sad. They're singing their sad songs. And Margot leaves this beautiful note. And they read it with such heart. And was like, oh, she's so... Unlike when Jean left her note, they was like, girl, whatever. It's like, she was being very heartfelt in her note too, and they were like,
not having it.
Sure, Jean. I still find that funny and not funny at the same time. I was like, I have mixed emotions about that.
I think Jean's note was even more heartfeartelt. Like, this note was kind of sassy at times. So,
oh yeah,
absolutely.
Margot's note told, I think, Moy that she needs to take a shower and get off. Grinder. You know, which I think is hilarious, especially that when Russia Fox said, no, she was like, oh, well, Jean is the one who smells. And then Russia Fox is like, well, actually, You shared a room with her. You both stink. And I'm like, Russia.
Oh my God. Russia was very much in her villain era in this episode. I was like,
I love
Russia?
it.
Of course you do. You love everything Russia does. Russia can do
I sure do.
no wrong in your eyes.
Nothing wrong ever.
You know what? I respect that. I respect that because I have people who I'm like, I don't care what they do. They are always right and you will always be wrong. I don't really care. Mrs. Tan is one of those people, period. She is one of those people to me.
Mrs. Tan and Russia going at it. Like, I'm just like, oh, Russia Fox can create a poster with her eyes closed and throw some sand in it. And then look, it's Jesus Christ. She's like, well, honey, I'll do your face next. I was like, what?
Yeah. We lost it on the last podcast talking about the posters and how Moy and Mrs. Tan were just giving it.
Oh my God. It was so, they were giving the business to Russia Fox in the confessionals. Moy was
Slide
like,
one.
Family. Oh, and then Russia would go on and on and on and on about something. And we were like, what? Slide two. The environment. So, oh my God. That is the funniest thing. I was like, they said make a poster, not a slideshow presentation. She was just like, nope, I have a PowerPoint presentation here and here. And I was like, but I think that
she was inspired by is that they were supposed to do posters of inclusivity. So she was like, well, I can't leave anything out. Like
everything has to be there.
Include it all.
Everything. So, she actually, for the challenge, it was like, well, you know what, honey? You're right. We do need to make extra space for everyone to be inclusive.
Absolutely.
But she just finds, I guess, like consolidating her thoughts is probably one of the biggest challenges that she has for herself.
She's extra.
And you know what? If she's extra, that means we're all too little.
Yeah.
We all do too little. If she's too much, we do too little.
She's so funny because even when she was telling Mrs. Tan, like Mrs. Tan is like, oh yeah, don't talk back to your elders. And Ms. Russia Fox goes, well then why are you talking to me when you look older than me? Coming back with the shade with the reeds, and I was like, she's like, and I'll draw a picture of you too. I'll put a little furs here. Oh, you don't know why, do you? Because you're a dog. And I'm like, what?
I was like, what is happening? I was like, at first I was like, yeah, banter back and forth. And I was like, oh, but don't call him ugly. Don't call her the dog. Cause then I'm like, cause me personally, I'm like, okay, now I'm getting offended for her. Like, stop doing that. Don't say that. Cause like, I'm like, Russia, I like you, but don't come for Mrs. Stan because that's my girl and I'm gonna have to come for you. And I don't want to. But yeah. I knew I had David to defend Miss Russia Fox anyway, so it's fine. If I came for Russia, David will come for me, and we will go back and forth.
Exactly.
And it'd be okay.
So watch out.
But that was a funny moment between them and with everybody and going back and forth. And then, of course, we get our beautiful Miss Sassa girl coming into the play. I'm just going to bring up, because I think we could talk about it as we go, because that's what I started out with, because I will never, ever, ever, ever forget Miss Sassa Girl ever again on another slideshow. I won't, and I didn't. And Miss Sassa Girl walks up in there. Yeah, I got both her looks, so y'all just see all that. But Miss Sassa Girl walks in there, and we do the gay the English translation on the thing is every time they play a game is gay. And I was like, gaming. I was like, please stop trying to make that work. It's not that funny. I don't personally like it.
That's the one thing that Lana has consistently complained about.
She's had it officially. She's done.
I was like, I'm over the gay. Like, we get it. They're queer. We get it. We get it. They're drag queens. They're queer. We get it. But why?
It's a fun play on words. Some of us like dad jokes like that. So
I guess. I like.
A little bit. I'm a dad joke kind of guy, and I will like puns are just kind of they're just funny to me.
Me too.
For me, it's kind of like making fetch happen. You won't make fetch happen. Like, no. But Sassy Girl comes in and we do our game. And the game is just I was like, are y'all trying to make me cry again? Because I really don't want to do that again. Y'all got me last week, and I really didn't want to do it again. But we're making over our loved ones. And I was like, oh, beautiful. Okay. So first Deja's mom comes in and everybody's like, yes, Deja, your mom. That's so cute. And then we had a sister for...
I think it was her drag sister from Russia.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was Russia's drag sister. It was a lot of drag family.
Yeah, it was a lot of drag family. Because I know Mrs. Tan had her drag sister. And I want to say, was it Feyvah who had a drag sister as well?
Yep.
Okay. So Feyvah had her drag sister. Tan had her drag sister. Russia had her drag sister. Deja had her mom. And Moy had a drag sister or a cousin? A family, right?
It was family for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Something like that. But all these beautiful ladies come in and they're looking happy. They're very excited to see everybody. Now, for me first, I didn't realize that they were holding the materials that they were going to have to use. I was like, what are these bundles that they're holding? I was like, what is that?
I didn't even notice it either.
Yeah.
I saw them come in. I was like, what's that? And then when I saw them, when they went split up, I was like, oh, that's the material they have to use to make their little outfits with. I thought it was going to be more like they were going to stick around and we were going to do a whole like thing. But no, it was just for the game.
Let me tell you, first of all, when I saw this episode this morning with Manila, we had no idea that they filmed this portion of the show. We were so shocked. We're like, when did they bring in family members to the set? And so I think, like, this is, again, Drag Den this season was shot over 12 days. And I guess I may have been sleeping for like maybe 12 hours on a day. And they shot this whole segment. I was gagged. Manila and I were just completely thrown away, especially because we didn't see these additional people on set.
Oh, my goodness.
And it was emotional.
It was, but that's like, okay.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, y'all. You and Manila, who were there, didn't even know this was shot. Like, what? How does the host not even know that this was shot?
Because the arcade is located in the completely opposite side, legitimately the opposite side of Manila's dressing room.
Oh man.
So I don't, this morning we were watching it, like, this is so cute. This is so cute. Oh my God, this is so cute. What is this? So like, why are we crying at 5 a.m? Oh my gosh.
Oh yeah.
Such a good segment.
Dragged in, y'all, they trying to get me because last week was a just like snot fest. I was just like, I don't want to stop. I'm like, nope, I'm a G. I'm a thug. I don't cry. But I'm crying. It was too sweet. It was too sweet. And then this week we get the family coming in and they're all like supportive and ready for whatever. And they get into they make them over, and it's all cute. It's all very cute. Nothing is like, it's not supposed to be like super glamorous or whatever, but it's just cute. And
I had two favorites, though. Did you all have any favorites? For me, I really liked Moy's, the red, like all red one, and I really liked Deja's too. So those were my favorite. I don't think there was a winner though.
I like Mrs. Tan because she was like, I want to go with the cup, the collar and the covering of the face, like very couture kind of esque.
My favorite, I go by name because Russia Fox's makeover had like 7 or 8 names, and it just made me laugh. They were like, "This is Maria Cristina de Santa Maria of the Republic of." I thought it was the funniest thing. I was just like, character, it's not all about like how you look, but give me the story. Absolutely. Let me know her name. And so I thought that was just genius.
It was beautiful. It was funny. I laughed. I was like, not all these names, but it was fun. And then after everybody came out, they did a little runway moment and they all came out. After everybody came out, then Sassa Girl had to ask them what, ask them about each other. What do you like about them? What brought you together? That, whatever. Man, it started out nice. It started out really nice and, cute and innocent and fun and sweet. And everybody was like, oh, this person is so supportive. I love them so much. They helped me through this. They're like a mother figure for me and blah, blah, blah. And then it got to, Miss Tan, her girl, her drag sister was like, all the mother figures in my life has died. And I was like, oh God, no. Jesus Christ.
Mrs. Tan is like, oh my gosh, am I next?
Am I next?
Like, this is the last message you have for me.
Right. I was like, not the last message.
This is the funniest, unfunny moment I've seen in a while because it's really sad. But just the fear that you suddenly saw in Mrs. Tan's eyes was hilarious to me. And I'm like, I should not laugh. I should not laugh. I feel like I was in church.
Yeah.
It was a moment of like, okay, I can't. I want to laugh, but I can't. Oh, Jesus. Okay. Yeah. I was like, no, not that. But she was like, but you have been such a good mother figure to me, and I appreciate that. So sweet. Everything was sweet. Russia Fox, her sister, was very sweet. Was like, I'm gonna call her Donna because that's what I call her. And we've been together through thick and through thin. When I didn't have things, she would be there. Like she took care of my daughter. Like she helped me with my daughter. I was just like, oh, this is so sweet. Then Deja's mama.
Oh,
Deja's mama. I was like, I was doing good, Miss Deja mama. I was doing good up until you. And the support that she showed Deja, it was so beautiful. It was so amazing to see. And Deja was just like, I know I'm one of the lucky ones. Everybody does not have this story. I know. I'm so lucky, and I appreciate my mom for supporting me from beginning and not letting anybody deter her from anything, from not supporting me. She just supported me. And then everybody else's story was like, why can't I have that? And I lost it. In that moment, I lost it. I was like, no. What do you mean? Why can't I have that?
Yeah, it was such a touching moment to see Deja cry out of happiness for that support she has, and then the other contestants cry because they want what she has, which is love. It's free, it's love, Such a touching moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I could kind of relate to the other queens because I'm not even out to my mom or either of my parents. And I just know it would not go well if I did come out to them. So like it was kind of heartbreaking just seeing the pain in everybody else. I feel like I cope with it pretty well, but not everybody does. Like especially Mrs. Tan was just bawling in her confessional there, talking about how she's the only child and she still has to fight for her mom's attention. She feels like the cousins are more favored than her. And my heart was just breaking for Mrs. Tan in this moment, just because you could see her kind of revert to a child in this moment talking about this. And it was heartbreaking.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, I wanted to yell at every parent. I just want to yell at all the parents of all the queer people in the world and be like, stop doing this to your children. Just support them and love them and let them be who they want to be and let them be happy. Like it doesn't affect you what they do in their life. Let them live their life and you just love them. That's all they ever want from you is love and support. They're not asking you to go out and buy the rainbow flag and put it all over your house and tell all your friends, my son or my daughter is like, that would be lovely. That would be great if you did it, but they're not even asking you for that. All they want from you is support. When they come out and say, Mom, Dad, this is who I am, all they want you to say is, good. I hope you're happy, and I'm gonna love you regardless. That's it. That's it. They're not asking you to change anything.
Beautifully said. Beautifully said. That was just gorgeous. Absolutely.
It's just so it blows my mind. I'm an older woman. I don't have any kids, but I was like, growing up, yes, I probably was very much taught that homosexuality is wrong. That's how I was brought up. That's how I was raised. And it took me growing up and learning, you know what? Why does it matter? Why does it matter what other people do? It doesn't affect my life. You want to be with this person and be with another man, or you want to be with another woman, that's fine. Do you? Because I don't want nobody telling me who I can and can't be with. So I'm not going to tell somebody else who they can and can't be with. And I've grown and realized, you know what? Love is love. It doesn't matter who you love. Love is love. And that's all people want people to do is just be understanding and supportive. And heck, some people just need you to tolerate it. Just understand it and let it move on. Keep it pushing. You don't have to agree with it, but just don't bother them and don't try to stop people from doing what they want to do in their life. Just let them be. You ain't got to agree? Fine, don't agree. But you ain't got to say nothing to them. You ain't got to try to fight them. You ain't got to try to hurt them. You ain't got to try to do nothing. All you got, if you see it and you don't agree with it, turn your head. It's just that simple. Oh, okay. Keep it pushing. But yeah, parents, your kids just want to be loved. That's it.
Yeah.
Just say, okay, good for you. And let it alone. Don't try to change them. Okay. I'm going to step off my soapbox. Because I will go.
Deja's mom definitely gets so much love and props from us.
So much love.
Oh, yes.
Beautiful.
But
the only other thing that I wanted to bring up from this whole section here was at the end, after everybody was done talking, we had a moment where Russia Fox was like, thank you all so much for coming out here. All genders are welcome here. You're just so appreciated. And then one of them goes, excuse me, are you the host? I died. I was like, I think Russia is trying to come for Manila's gig a little bit.
She's trying to come for the job.
She's prepared. Russia's prepared. She'll have like outfits snuck up in any like corner or crevice that she can find. She will put something there and be like, oh, surprise, boom.
It's about to be another show, not dragged in, but it's going to be another show coming out in the Philippines in a couple years where the host is Russia Fox. There's going to be another pageant. There's another pageant happening, and it's coming, and it's going to be hosting Russia Fox. And you know what? I'll watch it because why not?
I'm here for that.
Why not? But so let's get into the first main challenge because now all the families they're gone.
Theme challenge.
Theme. Why do Yes, the theme challenge is happening. And it's protest fashion, but in swimwear. And I was like, okay, word. So yeah, protest fashion in swimwear. We have sorry about these pictures, y'all. I now understand Logan's pain trying to screenshot on the computer. But this is an interesting look from Manila. I'm going to say, not my favorite, but an interesting look.
I remember that look. That went through a few changes, to be quite honest. I remember that day. Because Manila doesn't usually wear like swimwear for her. Manila's not known for that. She's known for food, for gowns. Those are the two campy looks. So swimwear, this was a like an outside of the box, and her stylist, G. Huxon, she had this concept, and accessories change. I think even the hair change. It was just there was a lot of movement throughout for this specific look. I kind of like it for different reasons. It gives me Sarah Jessica Parker from Hocus Pocus in some weird way. I get that vibe with that blonde hair, and then with the ruffly of the skirt. I like it, but my aesthetic is very different.
Yeah, I'll be honest. Like if I had to say Manila had a miss this season, this is the closest to it for me. But I also feel like this is very like drag den. Like this is quintessential drag den. This feels like it would fit perfectly in season 1, especially with how gritty it was in season 1. So she doesn't look bad by any means. It's impossible for Manila to look bad. She's just set the bar really high for herself, or her designer has.
Yeah. I feel like I like what I do like is the ruffle skirt. Everything is just like I like the ruffle skirt and I like the wig. I'm not a fan of the swimsuit and the boots. So it's kind of like I like this, I like this, I like don't like. So you kind of pull it together. Overall, it's okay.
Yeah.
Not my favorite, but it's okay because that will change later on in the night. Because baby, this next look, my mom. I was here for the next look. Period. But we also have our drag dealer, Nicole Cordova, and our guest drag enforcer, Miss Dolly De Leon. And I was very happy to learn about Miss Dolly De Leon because I didn't know who she was until this episode. So I was able to go back, look her up, and I was like, oh, okay, Miss Impressive Golden Globe winner. I see you. I see or nominee. And first Filipino Golden Globe nominee? Like what?
Yeah. Well, it's funny thing about I saw about a year and a half ago before we shot this, a few months before we shot season 2, I saw Triangle of Sadness randomly on Prime Video because Woody Harrelson was in it. And I said, you know what? Let me check this out. I put it on. Woody Harrelson is not really in it. Like he's hiding throughout the whole movie. But Dolly De Leon is like the lead actress in this and she killed it. She slayed it. Was nominated for a Golden Globe last year and was so surprised and excited to learn that she was going to be a guest drag enforcer this year because she's very inspirational to like just learning about her from that one performance she had. I was blown away. And so when she came to set, I sat down next to her on the couch and told her how much I was gushing over her because I was just like, you are the guest I'm most excited about this season. And I was just going on and on and on. And I was like, we need to go to the Hollywood Oscars party when you get nominated for your Oscar one year. Let's do it. So we put that energy out there.
Period. David, I know the resident movie guy. You've seen this movie.
Yep. So anybody watching, yes, I like drag. Movies are my thing. Movies are my passion.
Absolutely.
So I did not know who Dolly De Leon was until 2022 when I saw the same movie, Triangle of Sadness. I saw it in the movie theater. I had heard it won the Palme d'Or, and I was like, okay, I'm excited. And like Michael, I saw the trailers, I saw the cast. I was like, a lot of familiar faces, but she swooped in there and she stole the show, especially in the second half of the film. It's just such an interesting movie. Like, it's honestly one of my favorite movies of this decade so far. And yeah, she's just such an amazing character in there. And she was the person that I was hoping would walk away with Best Supporting Actress at the Oscars. And the fact that she didn't get nominated is ridiculous. I was so mad. My roommate was too. In fact, when I was watching this, I texted my roommate because he's out of town. I'm like, oh my gosh, Dolly De Leon is the drag enforcer this week because we both love her. So I am so jealous that you got to like be in a room with her, talk to her. Oh, she's so amazing. I love her.
I just wrote down Triangle of Sadness as a must watch.
It's so good.
I'm going to watch it now because
you're going to be so surprised. You're going to be so surprised by her performance, by the story arc, and what she does. Her character is amazing. And then in real life, Dolly is just she listens. Like even when she's talking to the queens in the arcade, I could sense like she actually cares, and it's true. Maybe she's a great actress, or maybe that's just really who she is. But like either way, it's just you feel very warm and welcomed around her.
Well, let's get into it because we're talking about Miss Dolly De Leon once we get finished this category because I have some thoughts about her in the arcade. I was like, yes, but up first we have Miss Russia Fox. I hope I did the screenshots justice with this one, David, so you won't talk about me because I tried to make sure we got every angle of this beautiful swimsuit because the swimsuit is gorgeous. I want to say on Miss Russia Fox, she looks beautiful. She looks beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. I thought her body was like stunning in this. She can pull off a bathing suit like better than just about anybody I've seen on any of these drag shows. She's just got the right body for it. The swimsuit, it was like simple, but it didn't really need to be extravagant here. So when we give scores, I'm gonna judge it mainly on the look and not as much on the presentation, just because that's how I kind of do it. But as far as the presentation of this, it was the Soji build that she was talking about. I will say, of anybody talking like about their protest, this was the one I understood the least. Maybe she took for granted that everybody's familiar with this bill. I'm not familiar with it, so I just wish she had gone a little more in depth. It just felt like she talked about it very shallow and kind of generic, so that was disappointing from her.
Michael,
I really like the simplicity of her swimsuit. The blue and gold is like touching the fact of the Filipino flag is blue, gold, white, and red. And so I could kind of see like the Filipino flag within her whole getup, that burgundy reddish hair almost. Her pale skin goes along with that, with the blue and the gold. And so I see the Filipino flag when I look at her in that swimsuit. And so I commend her for that. The body is fantastic. It's just the whole Soji quality on the whole covering does throw me off a little. It looks a little, domestic in terms of like how it's like, she's walked around with fireworks coming out of her head and her arms. So this one looks like it had the least amount of attention and energy put into, because she's already set the bar so high. So the covering up kind of throws me off and deducts. I would give her an 85.
I like this. I thought her swimsuit was beautiful. Like, no doubt the swimsuit was beautiful. The cape is where it kind of pulls me back, because like if I was just judging on the swimsuit and her look, how she looks in that swimsuit, it'd be very, very like to the moon, sky high, baby. But it's something about the cape. Like, I like how she has the LGBT on the hood of the cape, and then bringing it just looks so, like you said, like so amateurish drawn on it, not like. And I'm not saying everybody got to be a great artiste, because we are not that. Because if I was doing that drawn on the cape,
this was her fourth slide in the
like right. If I was drawing on the cape, they told me here's some paint and it's gonna look like that, because absolutely not. It's not my forte. But it's okay. I just feel like it's just so thrown together. And like you said, the bar is very high for Russia, because she has set that bar that high for herself, that I expect a whole lot more from her. So, but this was fine. It's not I didn't give her a low score. So, what is your score though?
I gave her an 80, but I was mostly looking at the bathing suit. She had the cape down a lot of the time. So
I also gave her an 80.
Okay.
And I was going back and forth between 80 and 75, because I was like, do what is that? But I was like, nah, because the bathing suit itself is actually pretty, very pretty. So 80 is what I stuck with, and I changed it like 3 times. Well, I'll tell you, I scribbled and wrote it and scribbled it 3 times. But we move to Miss Moy. What did you think about Moy, David?
It's not showing up for me yet. Oh, there it is. Okay.
Oh.
It was a little delayed for me, but I see it now. So I liked Moy's presentation. She talked about education reform. And I thought the look definitely gave me like the teacher vibe of it all. So I like that she stuck with the theming there. But I will say, as far as like a bathing suit look goes, it felt like there was a lot of fabric. Like, I'm not used to seeing that much fabric at a swimming pool or an ocean. But I get that, like, she's probably trying to keep it more conservative, like sticking with that teacher theme. I don't like the back of it either, because you see the back of that breastplate so exposed, and that kind of threw me off a little bit. So I thought she did really good with the theming. I just did not love the bathing suit part.
First of all, I love the color green and I love alliteration. So alliteration gets me, and I love a sexy, messy hair look from like a librarian school teacher. So she's fulfilling fantasies that I've had for decades. I like this. I know that it doesn't give you swimwear. The top doesn't give you swimwear, but I like it. It is a teacher at the beach who doesn't want to be too revealing because she may see one of her pupils there.
Right.
Again, my fantasies being played out.
I like this for different reasons. I liked it. Well, of course, I love the teacher vibe that she's giving. Like she came out and she had the thing covered and she had the messy hair with the glasses with the pencil stuck in. I'm like, oh, that's so good. And then when she found it was for education reform, I was like, yes, that makes sense. I don't mind the coverage of the top of the swimsuit because that's the new style. We do tankinis now. That's what we wear to the beach because some of us have little problem areas that we want to hide. So we don't want to show off all the belly. So we put the high-waisted swim pant trunks, swim bottoms on and the tankini tops. I actually have a swimsuit just like that because I don't want to show all the belly part because those are problem areas. But the boobs are good, so I keep them up and support it. But the tummy and the wide shine is little, so you cover that up with the tankini part, and then you put on the little high-waisted bikini bottoms because that covers up that tummy and control it, so it's not just jiggling around on the beach. And then if you like me, you put on a sarong, and then you walk around and you think you're cute all day. So I get it. I like it. I was a fan of this, and I was like, ooh, a sparkly swimming suit. Now, I don't know what water she getting in with that sparkly swimming suit on, but that's not, she ain't going to swim. She's going to sunbathe, and she's going to, lay out and relax. She's not going to swim.
She's going to grade some papers at the beach.
At the beach and sit there because like she's playing hooky from school. It's not spring break, is close to summer, but not quite there yet. So she kind of like, I don't feel like going to school with these kids today, so I'm sick. But report cards are due next week, so I got to go and do. I see you, Moy. I see you. I liked it. I thought it was good. I loved. I did. The breastplate in the back kind of threw me off a little tiny bit, but I still liked it. So, scores, David.
I gave her a 77.
Michael.
I would say I would go with 86.
I gave her an 80. I liked it.
You're staying consistent so far.
Absolutely. It'll change.
Okay.
But right now, Miss Deja is up next. Oh no, why did I do it like that? I didn't see that whole bottom down there like that. I don't like that.
That's okay.
That whole white panel down there should be covered. But anyway, Miss Deja doing drag is not a crime. She had caution tape. She had her gold bathing suit. David, what you think?
This, I was about to say this was my favorite swimsuit, but you know what? It might not be. I really like this though. I thought she looked stunning in this. The cape, like this was probably my favorite cape. It just felt really well constructed. Even though you can tell like she wrote on some of those words there. I kind of like that part. But she did have issues stumbling over her words, kind of like I just did. That was me giving an example of stumbling over words and continuing on instead of stopping and repeating myself from the beginning. But yeah, I thought the actual thing she was protesting was more just protesting like just drag being acceptable, which I think I would have preferred like a more distinct point of view like everybody else had, but I still like it is a message that needs to be said. So I can't really critique it too much, but she looks stunning. She looks great. I have no complaints about the look itself.
Cool. Michael.
I love the message because I work with PEG, and so we manage over 30 drag queens from Drag Race, Dragula, Drag Den, and drag is not a crime was a huge part of what we were going up against last year while we were filming this season. So it was very relevant for the time. And it's a message that we've used with PEG to fundraise money for anti-drag legislation. So I was really excited and proud that she walked on that stage and delivered this message. And the makeup, stunning. The hair, stunning. The gold swimsuit, love it. The cape, it's like water. The blue is like, reminds me of the ocean. And so I love that. I loved all of it. I really do enjoy this look.
Yeah, I did too. I enjoyed it. Deja is just beautiful all the way around every time. Like she don't miss in the face. Her face card never declines. Never declines, baby. It's so good. My only complaint about this, I wish Drag Is Not a Crime was bigger and bolder. Like I wanted you to scream that out so the world could see it. Because if you don't look at it hard enough, you'd be like, what does that say? Like drag crime. If you missed it, is not a. Like I needed it to be bolder and bigger. Like shout it out. Let everybody know that you think drag is not a crime and stop trying to make it to be a crime. So it's just, that was my only thing. I was like, I wanted her to take the time to like bolden that up, make it bigger, let it be more pronounced. But everything else, I loved it. She looks stunning. Scores.
I gave her an 86.
I'm going with 88.
I am going to match your 88. 88. Yep, I will match your 88. I'm changing it because I said something else, but I'm changing. Miss Feyvah Fatale.
Yeah. I really love this wig on Feyvah. I like the wet hair was a good choice here since you're thinking swimsuit. Okay, why not have wet hair? So I really like that on her, and she pulls off short hair like this very, very well. The swimsuit itself is simple but still really pretty. And I know Lana likes this color. Her message was to protect trans kids, and she did have an issue as well, stumbling over some words. But I really loved her message. I think it's a message that we can't like we can't talk about it too much. It's impossible. Even now, we're hearing about a non-binary kid in the news this week who was beat up for being non-binary, was kicked out of school for 2 weeks, even though they were the victim, and then they died from their injuries the next day. And just stories like these are just so prevalent, and I just can't imagine being trans or non-binary in society today because it's just so dangerous. It's not just dangerous here, it's dangerous everywhere in the world. And I'm glad this isn't the only time we're going to hear about it in this episode. We're about to hear about it from the next person, but this is such an important message. So I really appreciated that despite her having a little stumble there.
I like how I've never realized that when you combine blue and pink, it creates this purple color. And so she was embodying both trans men and trans women in one, and with this body swimsuit color. I think it was very smart for her to, even in her poster, you can see the blue and you can see the pink, and then you can see how it turns into purple. And I'm actually, the only thing I do not like about it is that above her waist, you see a little bit of a white panty almost. But it's like you really have to be like,
looking hard.
There you go. I found it. Aside of that, I love the hair. Sexy wet hair. Give me a messy hair. I love it. It's cute. I love it. I think it's really beautiful. And her mug is always on point as well.
Yeah, Feyvah, she's another one that's just so pretty. Yeah, David. Look, if Logan was in, David, like, I know David. Feyvah.
I'm not allowed to talk about how attractive Feyvah is, but
you can talk about it.
Attractive.
Logan's not here.
I'm still waiting. My DMs have been open. I've been patiently waiting. This has been 6 weeks now, Feyvah. I'm waiting.
Yeah. Feyvah's gorgeous. Come on, there's no denying. I love, of course, the color of the swimsuit. I actually really like this swimsuit. I feel like I don't know. It's just something about it that just like reaches. Maybe it's because it's like, yes, I can see somebody like me wearing it. I can see, somebody I know wearing that swimsuit. It's so pretty. It's gorgeous. But for me, this was one of my favorite signs. Like the cape, this was one of my favorite capes because I got it. And I love, like you said, you pointed out how the purple, the pink and the blue makes the purple. And she's showing like pink on one, like two fingers, and pink on these other two fingers. And right in the middle is that purple. It's like we all come together, trans men and trans women, we come together. This is what we got, and we need to protect these kids because they're making these decisions very early in their life now. A lot of kids know exactly what they want to do with their life, very young. And I think it was in this episode, somebody was like, they have a trans child who's 8. And
yeah, that was the best friend of Russia.
Yeah, had a trans child that's 8. And I was like, oh, word. If you feel that in your heart, and yeah, of course, there's gonna be a lot of people. They don't know what they want to do. How would an 8-year-old make that decision? That ain't your decision to make for them. That's between that child and that parent, and how that child feels. And if that's how they feel, that's how they feel. Yeah. But I love this, and we do need to protect the kids because we're so pro abortion and pro life, right? We're also pro-life, right? Conservative. We're pro-life. Guess what? These are lives. We're supposed to protect these lives. But see, we're only pro-life when they're in the womb. We don't care nothing about them once they come out.
Pro-birth. That's what that is.
Right. We're pro-birth. Yeah. We're pro-pregnancies. We're not pro-life. Yep. But all right, I'm still off that soapbox. But Feyvah did great in this. Scores.
I gave her an 83.
I will go with an 86.
I gave her an 81. We're all in the same realm here. Mm-hmm. And last but certainly not least, Mrs. Chan with remember their names. Remember these trans women and trans people's names who have been hurt or killed or whatever. Remember these people's names. Okay. I'm gonna let y'all go because I gotta remember Logan's not here. I'm gonna be last.
Right. Yeah. So I really like this. I will say this also didn't quite read bathing suit to me when I saw it. It kind of looked like a corset, but I still liked whatever was going on there. But the main attraction here was the wig with the candles and the fire. I don't think I've ever seen a wig like that. And I've watched a lot of drag shows, but I thought that was so cool. And once again, this message is so important. And she specifically was talking about trans and non-binary people who've been murdered. And we do have to remember their names. I didn't say their name earlier, I don't think, but it's Nyx. Google the story of Nyx. They are the trans kid that was killed in Oklahoma this week. We cannot forget these names. It's so important. So this message and the look really won me over. This was my favorite of this category.
I do applaud the hair. The hair was genius. Never seen a hair on fire. Well, yeah. Never seen a hair on fire purposely.
Yeah, I was about to say, I've seen a few accidents.
I do also I don't really see a swimsuit. It was a corset I'm seeing. And in regards to like the letters not being visible on another cape, with this one, I also do feel like they could have been bolder versus I know the font that she's going for. I love that font, but for this particular fabric, it was difficult to read because you really need to spread it out open so you can see the entire verbiage. Mm-hmm. And so, maybe if the lettering was a little bolder, it would have been easier to read. But it's definitely grabs your eye to like make you want to like stare and see like what does it say, and whose names am I trying to spell? Remember their names, and then so it is a very like it makes you think. Mrs. Tan always makes you think. Her looks are always thought provocative, always like trying to just take it to the next level of like, what's the message behind this? It's not just a look. So, and then the candles on the hair reflecting like how you should be. Like if you were reflecting on someone who's deceased, you may light a candle. And so I do really applaud her thought for this.
Absolutely. I think this was so beautiful. I agree with the swimsuit part. It's just more like of a corset than it is a swimsuit. But I think her message was very strong, and the way she delivered it was even stronger. This is such a huge thing, like a huge message, not just in with the trans community or whatever, but like even in all communities, everybody had, like I will, for the my community, the Black community, is a lot of people police brutality and things like that. And we like remember their names, say their names, because you don't want it to just go by without us recognizing and remembering that these people were wrongly harmed. Same thing for her message. People who are wrongly harmed just for being who they are, we got to remember who they are. So their dying is not in vain. And we can stop it from happening again. And so I love this message. This wig is out of control. I loved it. I loved it. So scores, David.
Yeah, the wig got some bonus points here. I gave it an 88.
87.
This is my favorite of the night. I gave it a 90. But we go back to the arcade after all of this, and we have a conversation with Nicole and Dolly, and Miss Tan asked her, like, what advice would you give? What would you? And she was like, just be you, be unapologetically you. And I was like, yeah, that's I mean, that's the advice you would give anybody, because that's what you're supposed to, like, you need to be yourself. And if yourself, it was something else, and I'm trying to remember what it was, but it was something else that she said that I was like, yes.
Yeah, I might know. So she was telling them that you might look at each other and be like, oh, I wish I was more like Russia. Oh, I was more like Deja. But the beauty in this group is their diversity in being who they are, and not being like anybody else. They all have their own lane. So I thought that was really beautiful. I wrote that down because I was like, wow, you said that so well.
Yeah, that's what it was. I was like, it was something else. I'm trying to remember. But that was it. I was like, yes, because this whole episode, well, a lot of this episode, we saw people calling people fugly and, you're a dog and this and the other. Like, it's beauty in the diversity of what society might think is beautiful. Because I think Mrs. Tan is stunning. Like, when she's in makeup and in drag, I'm like, oh, she's actually, oh my God. Yes, I definitely feel like it's the hugest transformation between when she's in drag and out of drag. And I'm like, wow. And it's not a bad thing, because I'm like, baby, if you could take this mug, and I'm talking about me, take my mug and transform me into somebody that I can't even recognize, I'm here for it. I want to see it happen. Your skills are impeccable. And I love a good transformation. So seeing Miss Tan transform every week from her non-drag persona to her non-drag life to her drag persona is incredible to me. I am in awe. But yeah, I love that Dolly said that. And I hope a lot of people listen and take that to heart and realize you are beautiful regardless if you look like the supermodel or just the girl who at your house. You know what I mean? It's love it.
Yeah, Dolly said it so nicely. It reminds me of like the X-Men or the Avengers. Everyone has their special powers and is not like the all most powerful being, but when you come together, you really create something beautiful that everyone can benefit from. And so I love how this episode started with them being kind of catty, reading each other, and then it goes to a place after the Themewear where it's really about embrace your inner beauty, embrace the diversity of your characters and of your personalities to come together and and be, you know, dragged in season 2, you know. So I'm really excited that the top 5 had this moment with Dolly to you know, just to like be thankful for who they are individually.
Absolutely.
I agree. Yeah. Um, the other thing that stood out to me in this moment was, well, basically, this episode is kind of a love letter to women in general. But we had Mrs. Tan talking, and she was saying that women are keeping the drag economy alive. And I was like, you know, that's a really good point, because I'm so used to going to drag shows, especially like a drag brunch, and even just like a Saturday night drag show. And there are so many women there, like bachelorette parties, like just women are coming in droves. And oftentimes when you look and see who's tipping the queens, it's a lot of the women. And yeah, I think we take for granted having women in those queer spaces. I mean, first of all, women can be queer too. Knock knock. But also straight women, they've been such good allies to us. And I think it's very important that we acknowledge that. I was just watching another show where they were kind of talking bad about women at drag shows, which, I mean, not all women behave well at drag shows, but I'm really glad that we got this side too, where it was just so beautiful. Like this whole episode just really showing the value of women in our communities. And it just occurred to me that all the loved ones that came to visit were women.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know, I'm a big numbers guy, and I've analyzed a lot of insights for many drag queens, and I can tell you that just by the numbers alone, it's women who are the number one supporters, the number one followers. And I don't think it's only the fact that it's a industry that has to deal with cosmetics and beauty and you know, different gowns and fabric, stuff like that, and fashion. I think it's more about the empowerment of, you know, how you can be whoever you want, create whoever you want to be. And I think that is like something that empowers women. Because even in the next segment, for the main showcase, main showcase showdown, I'm thinking of Price is Right. But like at the main showdown, one of the questions that they had was like, what are the similarities in uh like difficulties and challenges that the LGBTQ community has and women have? And so women do resonate with the struggles of the LGBTQ community, regardless if women are queer or not. They can still sense it and feel it and have an understanding of what we're going through. So I think that's one of the reasons that they're so supportive, because, you know, we didn't, you know, we didn't have women have to fight for their rights in the USA, and queer people have to fight for their rights to get into the spaces where they want to be. You know, just like the Parlorista episode, where in the Philippines, the queer community was just siloed to be hair beauticians, hair stylists, and you know, and that was the stereotype. We had to fight those in the Philippines to get the better jobs in different categories. So, women, I'm so happy that this episode is dedicated to women, that the people who visited the contestants were strong women influences in the contestants' lives.
Absolutely. I love that too, because I'm like, we get so bogged down with who's who's doing what and who's in charge of what and why something is happening. And even in women, amongst women, the whole are trans women, cis women, that whole discourse between trans women and cis women. And then it's like, no, okay, let's stop. Let's stop. Because as women, we all know what it's like to be under the patriarchy of men. And guess what? These trans women are going to be under the same patriarchy because this is what they want to do. This is who they are. They are women in this world, and women in general are always going to be under men. That's just how this society has been. But now we're trying to show that we can be just as successful, just as strong, just as powerful as these men. And we're trying to break these patriarchal norms, and we don't need us fighting with each other in order to get, because that's not going to get nothing done. But I love that this was like, women are a very essential key to drag artists. Like if these drag artists are impersonating and embodying, because I don't even like impersonating, but these drag artists are embodying very strong women when they come out and do put on these performances. And that is also why I love drag kings now, because I love seeing women, strong women saying, okay, let's show what we feel, how we embody these men and we can come out and we can show the same art form, but in different ways. And so I loved it. I love that we're, opening the doors of drag, and women just appreciate good art. I just think we do. We just appreciate good entertainment. And I just love, like, I don't have to know who's at the drag show or if it's a drag show. If it's going to entertain me, I'm in there. I'm watching it. Is it a drag show? Is it a regular show? Is it whatever show? If I'm entertained, I'm going to watch it. So I love that women are being that for these drag artists, that we can come out and support and tip and just be there. I have yet to go to a drag show in my life yet. That is on my bucket.
Fix that.
I know. I've been trying.
I'll come down.
I've been trying, and I think it's some around here, but I just don't know where. So I'm gonna have to just do my research, do my due diligence, and find the drag shows in Birmingham, because sure.
Or start. You could start one. Start your own drag show.
Oh, look at this. Yeah, work. Period. I'm gonna produce a drag show myself. I'm gonna find
a good one.
Make it work. I don't know. I will figure it out, but I just want to, I haven't been to one yet. I was very close to going to one, and then I couldn't go. Financial reasons told me no, but I was like, it's okay. It's all right. I'm gonna go. But I love that. I love that women are supporting drag artists. I love that we are being recognized in this episode, and I love that all women are being recognized, not just trans women, not just cis women, but all women. So I'm here for that. So I think we should just get right back into it, because we do go into the main showdown. That was right. Yeah. And I'm going to close that up, because that's where we left off. But we're going to move, because I said what I said, and I made this just the way that I made this. I wanted Manila to shine in this outfit, because this dress is beautiful.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like this one.
And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that's like a classic. I could see Manila going to the Oscars in that.
Absolutely. But you know who else ate down? Who ate one down? Miss Nicole.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Nicole Cordova. I said, wait. No, she don't got a tiara on with the red leg. I was salivating over this look. I love this look. I took so many pictures of the screenshots that I was trying to figure out which one I was going to use. But I took so many pictures of Nicole, because I was like, this is pretty. That's cute too.
We can't just do that to Dolly. Dolly, you look good too.
No, Dolly looks great too. I was just saying, Manila 8, Nicole 8. Dolly looks like, yes, period. Because she got a little lace number underneath her jacket, her little lace shirt underneath her jacket. Yeah.
She's there for business. You could tell Dolly is there for business. She's like, I'm gonna rate these queens.
Period. And she was like, I'm serious. I'm taking this very, very seriously. And I'm here for it. But
I do have a question before we get too far past that. Why wasn't there a drag agent on duty this week?
Well, this is the week where Dolly De Leon is already just huge name, but I feel like this is the moment where, double elimination and we go down to the final three.
That's true.
So
they didn't want the scores to say ties. Like, they didn't want ties to happen.
Yeah, and having a drag agent on duty, the drag agents on duty, they know the queens in the show, so it could have really, some scores could have been played around with. The agent on duty was being dirty.
Yeah, that's a good point. I just was like, are we going to get the whole season 1 cast? So it doesn't look like we did, but that's okay. I'm really happy with the ones we did get.
Now we get. Please, somebody say this. Hansht game.
Hansht games.
Hansht games. I was right. Now Logan was like last week. Oh, so it's just the snatch game, and I was like,
no.
And now we hit to it and we see it. I'm like, no, Logan, it's not the snatch game at all. It's nothing like the snatch game.
Yeah.
So,
I've never seen any game like this.
So
While we filmed it, when they filmed it, I was kind of confused. I'm like, I need subtitles because what's happening? And so even with the first round, the first 2 rounds, I was still like, wait, you could rebuttal. I mean, I had to like rewatch it because I'm like, it's a new game, it's a new format. So I'm glad that it's not the snatch game because it's its own thing. Drag Den always has its own formula, and so this was introducing a new spin onto the drag showdown. And I think even the contestants were like, like Feyvah Fatale, she kind of like stumbled. She didn't know
what to
she
say.
Fumbled. So it was a new concept that kept everyone on their toes, and so it was interesting, funny, and some people it was a perfect opportunity for them to shine, and others, that's when you saw, there's a crack here.
Yeah, I mean, I thought I'm like, oh, this is more like a pageant, but in a open form kind of way. Like we'll give you some pageant questions, and you'll answer your questions, but as a twist. For the opponents could chime in and be like, but this is another one counterpoint to this. And I thought, like, almost like, is it going to be more people like chiming in? Like, are we going to have, bam, my rebuttal. Oop, but boom, let me rebut the rebuttal. And boom, let me rebut the rebuttal.
Retitle the tattle, the rebuttal. I can't remember it, Jada.
That is, but this being the first time that these queens have ever been exposed to this, the next time it happens, the rebuttal of the rebuttals of the rebuttals are going to be rebuttal.
Absolutely, because that's what I was waiting for. Because I was like, oh, well, I would be that girl. I will rebut everything. They'd be like, okay, you don't have to rebut everything.
And with as beautiful as Feyvah Fatale is, I would have rebutted with the most nonsensical rebuttals. I would have been like, I'm beautiful.
Right.
And that would be my rebuttal.
Boom. Like, I mean, mother's mother, because mother is mother. Bam. They be like, what? Like,
mother is mother because MOTHER is what? Mother.
Period. And, like, just do something to entertain the judges as well. And give your real answer, like, first. But if it gets to the rebuttal of the rebuttal of the rebuttal, oh, yeah, nonsensical stuff coming after that. But we do get the Talak to song, and then the discussion, and then the huling.
Hanashi.
Can you say all those again?
Nope. I will not. You all see them. They're on the screen. Try Spotify members. You got what you got. I'm sorry. That's the best I got. But this is the semifinals, and this is their main drag showcase. So, Miss Russia Fox.
Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the look, and then I'm going to give the most brief thought on how they did in this game. So I think this is a really pretty look for her, especially from the back. From the front, it's a little bit tame, a little bit basic, and I don't love the nude illusion. Take a shot every time you watch a podcast where I complain about a nude illusion, because it's becoming every podcast. I will just say, like, as pretty as she looks here, it just still doesn't feel up to her standard. And it's just kind of crazy, like, seeing what a fall from grace she had in this episode. And I love Russia, and I'm trying not to be biased. I would love to just gush and praise everything she did this episode, but it just was not the best episode for her. As far as her performance in this game, really my brief thought is I just found it all a little bit generic. I wanted more of a perspective than what she gave. Everything was just a little safe.
The look, to me, I agree. The front, little simplistic. The back, gorgeous. I actually do love the hair. Because I know some of the queens in the arcade were saying that the hair wasn't drag enough for them.
Mhm.
But I do like this look. Her response felt like it just needs to be tailored more. She, wanted to use as much time as she was given, used a little bit extra, and it still seemed like you said, high level, just touch upon everything. But I wanted something that was a little bit more intimate, something that would be like, oh wow, that really touched me and I resonated with it because I went through something similar. But it was just too high level for me in terms of her response.
I could not have said that better myself. That front of this dress, that back, I was like, I live for the back of the dress. I took several pictures of this back just because I was like, which one do I use? I like the hair too. I felt like it fit the dress. Like this hair and this dress, absolutely. She looked like a supermodel or a pageant queen. Like, absolutely. I love that. Her performance, it was so muddled to me. It was so many words, but not a lot of things happening. I wanted her to get into the meat and the potatoes of the question, and she kind of just stayed at the surface and was like, okay, like you say, giving the generic answer of world peace. That's what I want for all, world peace. But what does world peace look like to you? Like, give me some details, give me some things that make me go, never thought of it like that. Or, yes, that's what I was thinking. I wanted more. And she just gave me surface level. So, Russia Fox's scores for you, David.
Because I mostly saw the front, that's what most of my score is based on, and I gave it a 77.
Michael?
I will go with an 82.
I will go with an 84 because that back is still gorgeous.
It is.
Up next, we have Moy. And we saw this character last week, but in a different person form. But she's doing it Moy's way. So, David, what do you think of Moy?
Yeah. So I really like seeing this campy side here because honestly, a lot of these looks that we got in this final section weren't very campy. So she stood out for sure with that. And I do like this color combination, this blue and red. I thought looked really good together. The wig is nice. But overall, I think there is a simplicity to it that just left me wanting a little bit more. So it was not my favorite look. With that said, I thought she was one of the better ones for sure, with answering questions and kind of volleying off of the other queens. So I don't know that I would have given her the win this week, but she easily was in the top three. She just seemed to be having the most fun of anybody, and I'm sure that weighed a lot into the judging.
I actually love this look. I know it's simple, but there's something about like wrestlers or weightlifters that their outfits are kind of simple. And to me, it's the sexy look. Like I first with the blue hair, love the blue hair. Her weights gagged. They're just the campiness of it all just completely took me to that next level. She didn't need accessories because that main accessory that was her purse, it was her weight. I really do love this look, to be quite honest. It was one of my favorites, and I think it's because of the blue and the red. It's just I really do enjoy it.
Yeah, for me, the look was, I think I'm falling on the side of David. Like, it was definitely more simple for me. But, like you said, Michael, uh, she's a weightlifter. Their looks is this simple. They don't do, but she even dragged up the weightlifter look, which is I'm like, okay, I'm here for that. I liked it. I loved her performance. I thought she was so very much in the pocket for this performance. She gave what I felt like the answers that needed to give. It was a little more in depth, and then it was funny and campy at the same time. Like she was just in that sweet spot of this performance, and I was a fan of this. I agree. I don't know if I would have gave her the win, but I definitely had her in my top 3, like for sure. But I liked it. It was very much a solid look for me. Of course.
This should be interesting because we might have a big range. But I gave her a 74.
Wow, I would go with 90.
Oh wow, I gave her 79.
Okay.
Wow, it's so interesting.
Very interesting.
I love when we disagree though. Sometimes people match too much on this podcast, so I love seeing just different numbers.
Deja.
Yeah, I really like this. I like that she went with a more traditional character, so she had a more traditional look. But then once I realized, oh, like it's not just supposed to be fabric, that's supposed to be tattoos on skin. I thought that was a really creative angle here. Yeah, I was very impressed with this look. And of course, she's always pretty. Like she's so stunning. Her face looked great. As far as the performance went, I felt like she had some ups and downs. I thought she started off, especially when they were first introducing the characters. There was like it felt like she was holding back a little bit. Um, but I do think like as it went on, especially later on, I just felt a lot of earnestness from her. Like she felt very sincere in what she had to say, even if she did mess up a few words. I don't think she did as much this time, but overall, she had a very good night.
What's supposed to be tattoos? What are you referencing in terms of?
So there's like the ink parts all over. It's hard to see in this picture and see that going all the way down the arms. She was talking about how that was like her character had a bunch of tattoos, so those are tattoos on her skin. At least that's what I got from watching.
Yeah, I love this look. The work like that was put into it to create it is just impeccable. I applaud the designer, and then she models it, puts it together so beautifully with her makeup. Once again, her hair simple because the whole look is so extravagant that you don't need to have this dragged up big hair to distract from the look, so and even with the background of graffiti, it still looks so glamorous and elegant. Gorgeous.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, I was on the same page. Like, the tattoos. Those are tattoos. Those aren't just designs on the dress. Because at first I was like, David's gonna kill her for the nude illusion. I'm gonna say nah, but nude illusion. But then I was like, but it was supposed to be that way because it was skin. She was showing skin without actually showing skin. So I love that, and I love that tattoo art thing. And this skirt to me, I don't know what it is about this bottom part of this dress. But I am in love with it. I was like, I love that. I thought it was beautiful. I agree her performance was a little ups and downs, but not to the point where it was distracting and not to the point where I was like, oh, no, this is not good. It was like, she got a little nervous. Oh, but she brought it back. Then she go. Okay, she got a little nervous, but she brought it back. So I feel like it's not how you started, but how you ended, and I think she ended it strong. So scores for Miss Deja.
This was my highest score of this section. I gave her an 85. Stop that, Lana.
Michael?
I would say I would go with an 89.
I laugh because you just talked about us matchy with the scores, and I too gave her an 80. No, I did not. Oh, yes, I did. I too gave her an 85.
Okay. I thought you were laughing because I said this was my highest score and it was 85.
Yeah.
I was like, that's shady, Lana. 85
no, because that's high for you, David. That is high for you, but I just know. Yeah. I was just laughing because you just said we match too much here on this thing. You are matching with me because I wrote my Feyvah Fatale.
I really like this. I like this as a look. I think she's super cute in this pink. This was maybe my favorite makeup of anybody on the stage tonight. So yeah, she looks stunning. Now, her performance was a completely different story. If I'm being honest, I think Feyvah just was kind of defeated at this point. Her confidence was so knocked, and she just was never able to really deliver a strong message with confidence, and it was pretty sad. Like, and she just started talking about her character, and I did think it was funny when we saw the other queens being like, "Wait, is she reading from a Wikipedia?" And Mrs. Tan was like, "Siri, is that you?"
Google.
Mrs. Tan, you're so shady in the best way. um, but yeah, as far as her performance, the main takeaway was that I just thought she looked scared the whole time.
I think this is a great look as well, and I think the fact that you bring up about her whole being Suri, I think that there's an opportunity for her to go to Apple and say, "Hey, listen, let me be the Filipino voice for Suri in the Philippines." Um,
There we go.
because I got that same feeling from her. It felt like she was just reading off of a Google Translate or Google search,
Mm-hmm.
and there's something very the fact she's doing it right. She's doing it right. If she's giving everyone that same feeling of like, oh, she sounds like a Google search, I think there's an opportunity for her to play off of that. So I'm glad that we caught it on camera and she can now see it and see and hear what everyone else sees and hears. Because one, I have noticed her English has gotten better over the course of this season when she goes live on IG and stuff like that. So it's something that you can see her growth. So like the episode really shows that where she was at. And I think it's something that she'll look back on and be thankful for it. The look is fabulous. I would kind of want to change the shoes to match the color of the outfit, or to be a little sparkly, or maybe white to match what's happening at her waist around there, or even red, because I see some inklings of red, sprinkles of red. I feel like the shoe could have been a different color.
This is my favorite look of the night. I ain't gonna lie. I love this look. I was like, was her performance my favorite? No. But this look, I was like, yes. Because people look beautiful. And I was like, this pink, and then these feathers just shooting off everywhere, and then this whatever is happening in the front, whatever she holding. I'm like, I am a fan of this look. It's so cute. I love the little rhinestone detail around the waist area. I thought she looked cute, giving us the Ariana Grande ponytail. Like, I was a fan of this look. I agree with you about the shoes. Like, yeah, give me a pink shoe or a red shoe or a silver sparkly shoe, like the rhinestone to go with it. But other than that, this was a good look. I can't judge it off the performance because, man, I don't want to bring it down low like that. But because the performance was low. But this look, you ate, mama, you ate. Scores.
I gave the look an 83.
Mm-hmm.
I was going with 85.
And mine is an 88. Because I love the look. And last but not least is Miss Tan.
What I like about this the most is her face transformation. Like, I don't know what she did with her face, but I was like, this is a completely different face than I've ever seen her have. Um, I think it might be the eyebrows. She has thicker eyebrows. And I really like that on her. Like, I wouldn't mind if she did that more often. She looked really good here. And I don't know the reference character, so I can't say if like it looks more like that person. As far as the outfit goes, I was a little confused by it. I like it, but I don't really understand what it was going for here. At first, I saw bananas, and I don't know if it's because I'm watching Drag Race 16 and I'm seeing Nymphia wear bananas all the time. So I'm intrigued by it. I don't get it, but I still like it. um, as far as her performance goes, she was clearly one of the best of the night. In both categories, she had a lot of confidence. Yeah, I thought that she also felt very sincere. And there were times actually in this last section when she was giving her first speech where you felt the sincerity, but she also had like a little bit of timidness, and I'm glad it was just for a brief moment because everything after that was fine.
With this look, her makeup, the difference in her eyes are that they're flat versus arched. So I think that's one of the major differences. And then the look, and I love the makeup, but the look, I get a few different things. First of all, it gives me, I was getting a Flintstones vibe off of this for some reason, and I was like, is it Wilma? No, it's Bam Bam or Pebbles. It's Pebbles. I get a, for some reason, I feel like this is Pebbles in her teen. Like, but then when I look at it, like from this point, from these photos, I see like it reminds me of Honey the Pooh, like eating his honey, like the little jar of honey. It gives me a honeycomb vibe. So which makes me think of my childhood, which is fun and campy. And so like I think the color is what gives me that fun and campy feel. Of her dress gives me that Winnie the Pooh kind of vibe. I think it's the hair that gives me the Pebbles vibe. I don't know what it is to put. I can't put my finger on it, but I get those two cartoon characters in my head, which are iconic characters and memorable. So it was fun. You didn't know what to expect from her, and her sitting down on the stage just smoking. It was just like she was in character. She took Dolly De Leon's advice and say, know who your character is from the core, so that anything that you have to say, it just radiates who that character is. Yes. And she did that. She said, my character is going to sit down here and smoke a stove. Boop.
I mean, she was in character from the time they got on that stage to the time they left that stage. And it was beautiful to see it. I'm like, if you're going to do a character, commit fully to that character. And she did. She sat on that barrel and she had her leg crossed and she had a cigarette. She was just like, gave her speech and was like, and nah. Just like still popping it, still smoking it. It was everything. This look, I get what you're saying, because it definitely looks like that purse is a pot of honey from Winnie the Pooh. And then like she's giving us a dragged up version of Winnie the Pooh. Now, I don't know if that's the case, but I love it. I don't care. I can see the Bam Bam reference. I can see the Fraggle Rock reference. Like all of these the cartoons that I used to watch growing up. It's like, yeah. Like, I love it. I like you say, David, I don't know what the exact reference is, but I don't care. It's still good. And I think that's what makes some artists just great at what they do, because when we have to know what the reference is, like, oh, I don't know what the reference is and I'm confused, and so I don't know how to judge this, that's a problem. But when you can come out there and say, I don't know the reference, but I don't care because this still looks good, you have done your job. So I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the performance. To me, my opinion, she should have won the night. But that's just me. It's just me. Yeah. But scores.
I gave this a very solid 80.
I will go with an 87.
And I went with 85. I liked it. I liked that. And that is that on that. So we'll come out. Then we get the twist of all twists of things that's gonna happen. We realize and learn that this. Oh well, I should get down to it because I'm gonna say it several times, so I have to be ready.
Where's the button?
Here it is.
Dragdagulan.
So the Dragdagulan happens, and we find out that it's not a normal.
Dragdagulan.
We're not just gonna have 3. We're gonna have everybody. Top 5. We're gonna have a 5-way.
Dragdagulan.
I got it, David. You don't got to do it. I got it. Because I was like, oh, I just hit it. But yeah, so we got a 5-way happening. Now I don't know about y'all. I was concerned when she said it, and I was like, Manila, what you mean? What you mean? Why are we doing this? Why? Because watching the
Dragdagulan na.
Oh, we both said it together.
Dragdagulan na.
watching it the regular way with a three-way, I'm sometimes confused because I'm like, I gotta watch it again to see who I'm looking at. Now y'all gonna throw a five-way? Oh,
Dragdagulan na.
and I was like, yo, I don't know what to do. I'm gonna have to watch this like 10 times just to make sure I'm watching who I'm watching. I was confused, not gonna lie. I was like, I don't know who to watch. So I watched it like 3-4 times so I can make sure I watched everybody. So your thoughts on the five-way?
Oh, I thought you were going to play the clip again.
I thought she pushed it because he went away.
Oh, no, I didn't.
Okay.
I never love it when there's like this many people, but I get why they did it. It makes sense here. There were definitely people that stood out and definitely people that faded a bit for me. I had 2 pretty strong standouts though. For me, those would be Deja and Mrs. Tan. And am I surprised? No, I'm not. They both have won Dragdagulans before, and for a good reason. But also, Feyvah has won a Dragdagulan, and I would say Feyvah faded the most. And I really think it goes back to, I think Feyvah saw the writing on the wall, knew how this episode was going, and just was a little bit defeated. I do think Moy had her moments too, so I want to give her some props. But then Russia with the extraness at the end and the sparks just shooting out of the top, I was like, oh, come on. I would expect nothing less from Russia. She does not know how to do 100%. It has to be 150%. Oh, the one thing that did stand out to me with Feyvah is she was doing the thing where she was like sucking in the smoke and blowing out the smoke. Lana, we've seen that before. We've seen that from her drag family. I'm like, okay, you are related to Arizona Brandy.
You're related to Miss Brandy. Miss Brandy,
Yep.
Look, Miss Brandy will eat a compact and then spit out the smoke. You be like, girl, you finna kill yourself. Stop putting compacts in your mouth and make it in your mouth just to make the smoke. Don't do that, girl. You can die. Don't do that. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I done seen this trick before. Hey, House of Brandy.
Had a little more restraint than
a little more restraint. She ain't licked the floor though. I appreciated
or
that.
Eat her contact lens.
Or eat her contact. I was like, Arizona, you're doing too much for me. But yes, we love that for Feyvah.
So I was also too a little concerned about the five-way that was going to be presented because it does get a little bit overwhelming with 3 contestants doing the Dragdagulan. However, I felt like with the right song choice, the queens were able to like stage out, okay, I can't go up there because it'll be too much. I have to stay over here so people can see me. Russia Fox, I don't know if you realized that, but in the first few seconds, she whips out a crown from, I don't know what part of the stage. I don't know what part of the stage. She whipped out a crown within a matter of seconds. And I'm like, wait a minute, where did that come from? And like you said, David, she pops off this string and you're like, wait a minute.
Where is she stashing stuff?
Those are not graphics added in post. That's actually her coming out with what she does. And so, you know, she really does know how to entertain and put on a show. So like that was great. I know many people are not fans of it, but I do love the graphics that they add to the Dragdagulan. They're just funny.
I like
picture frames they kept doing.
Yeah, right. I was trying to get pictures. I tried to get pictures of all the picture frames, but then they didn't do everybody. So I was like, well, I can't do 3 picture frames and not everybody's picture frame. But I was like, oh, that'd be a cute little thing to put on the graphics. I was ready for that. First of all, the song was Cock-a-Babe by Donalyn Bartholomew. I wrote that down because I wanted to make sure we say that because Logan always does that. But yeah, I was like, first of all, where did she get the crown? Where did she get the streamers? Because like I didn't see her go anywhere on the stage to pick that up. I feel like Miss Tan had all her stuff that she had in her purse. So I'm like, okay, that makes sense. All her little pops and tricks are gonna be in her purse. Russia went somewhere, but you know what? Here's the bad part about it. She needed that. She needed all those props because her performance was lacking.
Yeah.
And she needed every one of those props to make me come back to look to her. Because before, when she wasn't doing nothing and she ain't had no props going on, I ain't paid no attention to Russia Fox because I was looking at Miss Tan and I was looking at Deja. And I was looking for Feyvah and looking at Moy, but then getting bored of Moy and then looking back at Moy. It was just, and so Russia was very much in the background for a long time. And then she popped the streamers. I was like, oh, girl, where you come from? What is that? And I was like, was that did she pop the streamers? Or was that part of the edit and post the things that did? And I was like, oh, no, that was her because the streamers are on the floor now. And so I was like, okay, cool. And so the Dragdagulan goes on. I'm looking, I'm like, ooh, Tan is killing this. Look at her. She got some old stuff and she in the front by herself. Okay. I was like, y'all gonna let her take the spotlight from y'all like that? Okay. Give her an easy win because she killing you right now. And then everybody started coming up and we saw, I love Tan and Feyvah going back and forth with each other and they were playing off each other. And then Deja was playing off with Moy. And then Russia took herself right to that middle of that stage in the front, and she lit her sparkler on fire in the crown. I was like,
I loved it. I loved it.
Okay, girl, make us look at you again because we weren't looking at you again. Once you popped the sparkle, the things out your hand, it was like, ooh. Okay.
Yeah. And she also had the photo that she didn't reveal.
Oh, yeah.
I was like, what is this photo?
And then it's Miss Sassa Girl, a photo of Miss Sassa Girl, but she reveals it. I'm like,
I didn't realize that's who it was. I was like, who is this?
That is Sassa Girl, which was like, it was funny because we're like, everyone's, who is she? Who's this photo of? And at the end, it's Sassa Girl. And we're like, oh my gosh. It's just, it doesn't make any sense, but it's so funny.
Right. But the thing is, I was like, I guess apparently she figured that the only people who watching this show is the Philippines. Because I had no idea who that picture was. And so when she turned it around, it did nothing for me. I was like, is that young Russia Fox? Or
that's what I thought. I was like, wow, what a transformation.
Right. I was like, oh, she grew up. I was like, I don't know who that is. So it didn't do anything for me. So I didn't laugh. I didn't chuckle. But I'm sure the Philippine fans was like, that's hilarious. Because I mean, that's fine. Play for your audience. That's the audience. That's the base. Do what you got to do. We'll figure it out over here. And we'll have Michael come tell us who it is. And then we can be like, that's funny.
You know, you said something that is really true, actually. When the Queens season 1 and season 2 were filming their seasons, they, in their mind, it's only for the Filipino audience. Mm-hmm. And they're not even thinking about the Filipino audience outside of the Philippines. They're thinking about, like, because, you know, most of them have not even been outside of the Philippines, outside of their province even. So go to Manila to film the show in the city of Manila is huge for them. So in their mind, they are legitimately working for, you know, the people who go to their local drag bar, and that the drag bar that's going to like hire them after the show. So I that's why I thank you also, both of you, for like doing something like this, recapping Drag Den, because you're helping them and their messages get spread across your base, and it's only just growing their visibility. So by you doing what you're doing here, it's really opening up their perspectives of like the show and the reach that they're having by being on Drag Den. So I applaud you for making this happen.
Absolutely. I am just honored that we get to do it, and it's a show that I can watch and I'm actually enjoying, because it's some shows, I ain't gonna name no names, but it's some shows, some drag shows that I've been told to watch, and I start watching it and I'm like, oh no. I can't watch this anymore. Like it seems like a chore to do it. Other people enjoy it, and I'm gonna let them talk about it, those who enjoy it. But this show, I've enjoyed this season. I've been invested in this season. So that's the that's how good this cast is. That's how good production is. That's how good the show is. Like
The
they
host,
have, and
the
the host,
host too.
absolutely everybody involved in this.
The daddy.
Absolutely, like it makes me somebody who is very like could go either way on a drag show. Like some I like, some I don't.
Yeah.
And now you got me to the point where I'm like, oh, I am invested. I'm taking notes. I'm talking about it. I can't wait to watch like next week previews. I'm like, yes, I can't. So that's kudos to this amazing group of people who are all involved in drag dance. So it's just a good show.
And it's really cool, like having some of the contestants, like we find out they're watching us.
Absolutely.
Because I'm like, oh, I randomly got followed by somebody on Instagram. Oh, I got randomly followed by a different one on Twitter. So it's really cool, like just knowing that they're out there watching us, and they don't mind if we criticize them too, because at least one of them has gotten a lot of criticism on this show, and she's taking it with stride. So it's really cool.
Criticism is just ways like feedback to improve yourself.
Absolutely.
So you're giving them your perspective on how to improve themselves for the US fans. And that's only just going to make them stronger competitors in their career.
Because who knows what other shows or other things that might open up for them, and they can do other things to expand their drag. So it's like, take all the criticism as long as it's constructive and it's not just stupid stuff and people just dogging them for their life and not their art. Take it, learn from it, grow, and how many doors can open from that? It's amazing. So I love when I'm unexpectedly followed by somebody who I'm like, I've been simping over this person the whole time, and now they follow me. I'm like, you watched me?
Hi, Mrs. Tan.
Like she followed me, and I was like, I almost choked. I literally was like, oh God, no, this is happening. And then she talked to me, and I was like, well, okay, we chatted, we talked back and forth. Miss Tan. Anyway, I'm not gonna fangirl. We're professionals. We're doing a professional job. So then we get the Dragdagulan happening. So I want to know from y'all who y'all thought won the Dragdagulan.
Ooh, that's tough. I have a tie. Honestly, I couldn't pick one between Mrs. Tan and Deja. They both did so well. I would love to know the results, but I don't know if we'll ever get those for just specifically the Dragdagulan.
I don't. Who won the Dragdagulan? Honestly, I don't know. Like the theatrics of Miss Russia Fox really always impresses me. And it's like for Dragdagulan, it's always like you want to steal the attention. And she did that for me in so many ways with the plop of the strings, with the lighting of the fireworks, and then again with the reveal of Miss Sassa girl. For me, I really enjoyed Miss Fox because she had the element of surprise for me. And while the other girls were playing with each other, Miss Fox was on her own. Miss was on her own.
Yeah, I think for me, for performance, it was Miss Tan. I think she was the first one to go like, y'all go notice me and y'all go see what I do. And Miss Tan been in the Dragdagulan for 3. This is the third one.
Fourth.
Like,
This is fourth.
3 in a row though.
Oh yeah.
3 in a row. She's like, oh, I'm tired. I can't do another one. And out there go, yeah, okay, work. So yeah, that impressed me. But we started hearing the results, and
we have a lot to talk about backstage first.
Okay, go talk.
Oh, sorry. If you were
no, please go.
Okay. So they go backstage, and it mainly starts off with people talking about Russia, and as Michael alluded to earlier, they had issues with her not like dragging up the look enough. But then she got defensive, and I honestly, the way I perceive this, I think Russia was starting to feel extremely insecure about her place in the competition, and I think in their minds, in most people's minds, we had a locked up top 3 of Deja, Mrs. Tan, Russia Fox. So clearly Feyvah is going to go. I think that she found Moy to be the person that she was starting to steal her spot. And she got very defensive, and then it became offensive towards Moy specifically. She started talking about how she doesn't like her breastplate, and people were like, why? You haven't said a single thing about it. And this is what I've been wearing since the first week. And Russia, it was just desperation. She was like, I think it's not conservative enough. There's too much showing. And people are like, well, why is that an issue? Why is that an issue? And then what got me here was when she was like, when I think it was Mrs. Tan was like, well, what about these guys here? They're wearing nothing. And she's like, well, that's different. They're guys. And people are like, what? What are you saying? Like, this is like the whole point is that like women are treated differently for showing their bodies. And if I'm being honest, I'm not sure that Russia even believes what she was saying. I think it was just coming out of like a feeling of fear. And she was just trying to grasp at straws at this point. I really hope she didn't mean that, because it really was reductive and disappointing to hear her say, well, these are guys. They can show off as much skin as they want. Women should not.
I think she probably do believe that, but I do believe Sassa Girl said it best. She is a product of her environment and the product of how she was raised. Because the generation that she was in, a lot of women were told, and women are told their whole lives, that you got to cover up. You can't show too much skin. That'll attract attention from men, and you don't want that kind of attention. Always be alert of where you're going, because you can't dress a certain way, and you have to always, like, that's been in my whole life. I've been taught to make sure you cover up and watch what you wear, because you don't want to be a distraction to men. Like, men have no willpower to not do something because I'm showing a little shoulder. Like, always keep it covered, always cover up. Oh, guys are guys. They're different. They don't have to do that. That's how women are taught that. Our whole lives, we're taught that. And it's drained into your brain from very early on. So I think that is something that, and if she was born and raised in a conservative household, absolutely they heard that. She heard that. She heard that even if she was, she probably, if she didn't hear it directly to her, or because she is trans, so when she was before her transition, if she didn't hear that to her directly as the boy, she heard that to the people around her, cousins, sisters, like she heard it. Her parents, some people said it. Girls need to cover up. Girls don't need to come out looking like that. You have to be conservative. That's the household. That's what she was raised in. So I believe she believes that, but I think she's willing to be more open about it now that she got called out on it. And I hope she is, because that's sometimes you have to be called out in order to realize that maybe my train of thought or thinking maybe isn't the best. Maybe I need to be more open. So hopefully, I think that was she's just a product of her environment. And I think Sassa handled that beautifully. Like, beautifully. She was like, I don't think this is her coming from, she's a victim, or she's trying to come at you, that she's a victim of her environment. This is the thought that we were raised in. So I kind of think it was just that.
I feel like there's a little bit of both. There is a bit of like the pressure from the competition. This is day 10 out of maybe 12 for filming. And so this is like nonstop working, doing new looks, competing, coming up with designs, coming up with spiels. But then it is also, as a Latino from New York who grew up in a Catholic environment, I was always told how to have my hair, what I can wear. And, it was my society. I was a product of my society. I went to work with ill-fitted pants because I was working in corporate America. And that was the way I was told to dress, with a tie, with this, with that. As I got older, and I realized how offensive it is for others to dictate how I wear my hair, how I decide to which pants I want to put on, what style of clothing I want to wear. It's taken over 3 decades to become comfortable enough to realize that others dictating how I look is me being a product of my society, and I had to break out of that. It took a long time to learn, and it took others. Actually, it took drag queens to help me realize the power of my hair. The power of what I wear, because dating Manila for the last, we started dating over a decade ago, when I was wearing the ill-fitted pants in corporate America, when I was cutting the hair because they told me to, and it took drag queens to open my eyes and realize that, wait a minute, this is not okay. And I think, like Russia Fox, she had a learning moment where her sisters were able to open her eyes and say, hey, listen, this is exactly why we're here. Right. This is the message of the episode, and it comes full circle. Like, even we can be victims of our own society. And so, like, even though there are leaders in their community, drag queens, top 5, there's still room for improvement within all of us. And I think she displayed that in such a natural, organic way that was a moment of pressure. She was feeling like Moy's coming for her spot, learning that two eliminations that night. The thoughts going through her head were like, how do I get back in? How do I claim what's mine? And, I think one of the easiest, the lowest hanging fruit was, you know what? You're the one coming for my gig, and this is what's wrong with you. Based on everything I've been told in my society, you shouldn't be showing cleavage, because that's what she's been told for all her life. And so that was the one, like you said, it was like her grasping for, what the lowest remaining fruit that she can to get to where she needs to be.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree.
Hey, Manila. Hey, Manila, I'm filming this podcast. Can I call you? We're going to wrap it up, and we'll call you. I'll be outside in a few minutes.
Okay.
All right. Love you. Bye. Bye. Hey, ciao.
Manila's been on our podcast now.
Okay.
The drag lord we have a drag errand to run.
Hey, well, we'll wrap it up real quick.
Yes, we're almost there.
But yeah, so we get to the end and we find out that the winner of the week is Moy. Congratulations.
Moy.
I wouldn't have picked Moy, but she would have been in my top 3, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely would have been in my top 3, but
yeah, I'll be honest. Oh, sorry. I'll be honest. I was trying to do mental gymnastics in my head. How can Moy somehow still go? And I'll admit, it's complete bias, because I am such a Russia Fox stan, and I was really wanting her in that finale. But she absolutely deserved it. So I really can't complain. Even if I wouldn't have put her in the top spot, she 100% deserved to make it to the end.
Absolutely. And then we find out right after that. Oh, wait, but we got to stop, because while Moy was announced the winner, Miss Russia Fox said, hold on. Wait. I need you to know, Manila, if I am eliminated, I'm not leaving. I don't want to go. I'm not going anywhere. So just give me another chance. I'm here. I want to be here, and I am not going to go. So I just want to just say my piece, that if you are planning to eliminate me, I'm not going. Okay.
Pick again.
Again, I'll be back. And then she stepped back, and Moy was pissed. And I don't blame her, because I would have been pissed too if you just took my moment and pissed all over it, because that's what you did. She took that moment. It was like, and the winner is Moy. Wait a minute. Hold on. Moy couldn't even celebrate, and nobody could celebrate with her, because everybody's like, wait, what? What is happening? I was like, is she about to? But then we knew she wasn't, because she saw the preview. But I was like, oh, I felt bad for Moy, but I was like living for Russia Fox in that moment, because I was like, girl.
Right. I think this goes to show, like, her only hope was, she's like, I know I have to beat Moy. I guarantee you, if Deja or Mrs. Tan was called first, she wouldn't have done that at that time.
Interesting.
Wow, I think you broke the code on that, because first of all, I lived for that moment too. Being on set, I was like, wait a minute, what is happening? Wait, what? And then Mother, Manila, please. I was like, what? What?
I
I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, this is dramatic. And like you said,
it was so
her
many
mom, it was her like right cutting Moy off immediately was just like, honestly, chef's kiss. Like I loved it.
Okay, I'll be honest. I went through 5 different emotions in that 2-second span. Like I was like, oh my God, is she finna? Whoa, I'm shocked. I'm gagged. Then I was like, oh, I'm sad for Moy. Like you took her moment and you just crapped on it. And Moy, oh, I feel so bad. Then I was like, oh, but I'm living because she's like fighting for her placement and she's fighting. I'm loving it. But then I started feeling like secondhand embarrassment because I was like, oh, this is a little cringe too. Because now she's like, Mother, Manila, please. I was like, oh, girl, it ain't gonna change nothing. The scores is final. And I knew it before Manila said it. I was like, oh, and we don't know if it's you or not. At this moment, we didn't know if it still could have been you. Like you still could have been in the top because we ain't seen Russia no further than second this whole entire time. So I'm like, it still could have been her. But I was like, nah, it's not her. She going home because that performance was just not up to snuff this week. But I was just like, oh, girl. But I was like, but I like the fight in you. I love the fight, but I'm still secondhand embarrassed for you because, girl, you're still going home and I'm embarrassed for you. But ooh, I'm living. It was a lot of emotions in that 2 seconds I was going through. But
and Moy moves over to the other side.
Moy said, I'm pissed. And I felt bad for Moy because I was like, yeah, that was her moment. She was like, let me go stand on this other side. Next to me stand. I don't even want to stand next to you. Because see, I would have been pissed like that too if it was me. And I'm like, girl, I'm about 2 seconds away from punching you right now. So I'm about to leave. I'm gonna go on this other side. And then when Manila was like, Moy, could you go back? I would have been like, nope, I can't, mother. I'm about to choke her, but okay.
She should have been like, I'm not leaving this spot of the stage.
Right.
I'm staying
Mother,
over this.
I'm not leaving this spot of the stage. Please don't make me go. But no, Moy goes back. She's gracious. I love that for Moy. And then we find out that the next person safe is Mrs. Tan. I was like, yes, oh yes, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. I was very happy. And then so that left the bottom 3 of Deja, Russia, and Feyvah. And I was like, I know Feyvah already felt, like you said, David, the writing was on the wall for Feyvah. I knew she kind of felt it. She felt defeated throughout the show. We could see it. And I was like, oh, it gotta be Deja. It gotta be Deja. And I was like, somewhere David is praying, it gotta be Russia. It gotta be Russia. And I was like, and then we find out the third person saved is Deja. And leaving to be eliminated, Miss Russia Fox and Fatale. And that was very sad.
And she makes another plea.
She does. She pleads, I need another chance. Just give me one more chance to fight with these 3, and I promise you, I won't let you down. I was like, I know she won't. I bet you if they would have gave her, I was like, y'all bet not. Y'all bet not give her no other chance.
I was like, please do it. But I'm curious, Michael. So we saw some like production people come up and talk to Manila. Do you know what was said during that conversation?
Oh yeah, the full translation of what Russia was pleading, because most of it was in Tagalog. So the producers were like, "This is exactly what she's asking from you."
Oh, okay.
This is exactly what she's asking from you, and it was a moment of just no one expected it. Just like that happened twice. It happened when Margot gave up her immunity. Everyone was like, "Wait, what? Can this be done? Wait, what?" And then with this episode, it was just like, oh, she's pleading for her life. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a fight. Like,
you love the fight. I was just like, they better not give it to her though. They better not give in to let her come back and do it because, and this is me being transparent. I knew if she came back, she could win this whole thing. And I was like, no, she got to go because I want my person to win. So I was like, she got to go because if she come back, she gonna come back with a vengeance, and Miss Fox would win this whole thing. That was selfishly for me in my draft, and the person that I loved the most so much I wanted them to win and not have the fight with Russia as well. Like she already got a fight with these two fabulous queens.
Yeah.
I didn't need Russia in the mix too. But so they leave. The walk always brings a sheer sadness. I'm like, oh, I love when Manila walks with them. It's like, I will walk with you. And I was like, huh, okay. And then she was like, she gave her another chance. She was like, do you still want to plead? And Rush was like, no, I'm good. I'm all right. It's okay. I get it. It's done.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
I really liked Manila in this moment talking to Russia, and she's like, I've been on these shows. I've had a lot of losses, and look where I am now. And I'm like, well, that's a good point when you say it like that, because like Russia had a very dominant run on this, and in All Stars 4, Manila had one of the most dominant runs we've seen on Drag Race.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, it really is true. Like winning is not everything. You can still make a big name for yourself. And I think Russia has made a huge name for herself after her run on this show. And so has Feyvah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, I just hope that we get to see them come back next season to do be drag
Agents.
Absolutely. And could you imagine Miss Russia Fox with her all over the place self trying to judge other people and giving them I'm living already for that moment. Please, Michael, if you could do anything to make that happen. I don't know what
Russia Fox would rate everyone super low. She's like, you didn't have any fireworks. Where were this?
Where were the streamers?
I would live. She'd be like, where's your props? You have none.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah.
I would live for that moment. But David, do we have a draft update?
Yes. So things have been pretty steady this whole season. It's been pretty consistently Logan in third place, Lana in second place, David in first place. Well, things have changed because my last two remaining people on my team were Feyvah and were Russia. So this was not a good night for my draft by any means. But it looks like the new points are Logan has 25.5 points. David has 43.5 points. And Lana now has 48.5 points. Yes. And guess what? It's impossible for you to lose this draft now.
Yes. It's time for me.
Because you have two of the top three, and Logan's so far behind with Moy.
Okay, yes. I look, I've done so bad in other drafts. I will take this. Yes. But see, and that happens. If I win a draft, I win it to the point where nobody can catch me. Did that for Philippines. Couldn't nobody catch me 2 weeks before.
It must be a Philippine thing.
Me and the Philippines are here.
Yeah, you're there.
We are here, me and the Philippines. Everybody else, not so much. But that is it. We got to let Michael go because Michael got life and things to do. And
so the finale's in 2 weeks?
Yes. Next week, you're going to be able to see an episode of like never before seen footage, perhaps some drama that happened behind the scenes. There was so I don't even know what to expect, but I know that next week's episode is going to be like stuff that you haven't seen, clips from different drag enforcers that have visited throughout the season. So that's what's and then some like extra highlights, I guess, from your top three queens.
Okay. So I guess next week we probably will take off as well, and we'll come back for finale night to talk. Well, finale week, and we'll include this one and give a little short, brief synopsis on this next episode, and then we'll talk about the finale. So we'll be back in 2 weeks, y'all, to talk about the finale of Drag Den. I'm very excited. I can't even tell you how excited I am. We subscribe to this channel. You guys stuck around with us all this time. We appreciate you. Subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, all the things to let you know that, so you can know when every video comes out, because we got a lot coming at you. Subscribe to the Cup TV, subscribe to the Cup ESC, join our membership. do all the things here, either here on YouTube or on Patreon. It's only $5, and we appreciate that. Follow us on all of our socials at The Cup Pod on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. We got some great moments coming your way, probably some from this show that'll end up on our socials for sure. And you can follow the three of us on all of our socials. They're down there. You see them ticking across. They're there. And yep, that's it. We're going to get out of here. So cheers, y'all.
Cheers.
Oh, get your cup merch too, by the way. Do that too. Do all the